This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the Gulf of Mexico as their backdrop, broadcasting live from the Margaritaville Resort on Fort Myers Beach, here are the hosts of the dinkiest podcast in America, Kim and Ed Ryan.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming to Margaritaville, and it's so nice to see so many familiar faces coming back to the beach.
You don't need to talk that loud.
And enjoying Margaritaville and enjoying a great day out here.
Right.
And we appreciate you all coming out and enjoying the sand sculpting weekend. If anybody doesn't know, that's here at Margaritaville. It's the 34th annual Sand Championship at Diamond Head. It's within walking distance if you're here at the resort. And
It's just a little bit that way.
you can do it, people. You can do it. You can walk that way. And what you need to do is when you go to the Sand Sculpting Championship event, you need to vote for Remy from Bulgaria. She's the one that we're sponsoring. She's a professional sand sculptor, and she's flown in all the way from Bulgaria, which takes 22 hours. For those of you that didn't know that, 22 hours. Oh,
Piece of cake.
Miss Africa over here.
Hey, I just want to say we're gonna, our demo is like, our age demo is going down. We have a new special friend.
Oh, is she going to come over?
No.
Oh, I
but
see.
she's
she was wearing the
straight
glasses.
now.
And where are they from?
They're from Indiana.
Indiana. Very nice. Are they staying here at the resort? Awesome. Very nice. By the way, I didn't think that
right over here. Oh, wow.
I didn't think
Sorry
that
to interrupt your day like this.
I didn't think that your dinky idea was going to sell, but these sunglasses are like a pretty hot seller. For $5, you can get yourself
$7, and I was like,
I know. Well,
$5 is weird because we don't run around with a bunch of ones.
$5
so,
here,
$7
$7 if you have to have them shipped. So, and it's a beautiful day out here. No tents. That's how nice it is today.
I know. I'm actually might have to put.
Yes. Would you like me to do a little hugging? We'll rub you so that you're nice and warm. By the way, has anyone in the audience had a stroke? I mean, has anyone in it I have some, like the side of my face hurts and my chest hurts. Like I feel like
that's a sign of a heart attack, but you don't want to go. So.
You're not. You don't feel like it's an urgent thing or anything. You're just like casually saying, I think you're having a heart attack. Like should the side of my
how much life insurance do you have?
Face hurt and oh, that's real funny, right? People laugh when I keel over. People are gonna laugh. The man's dead, laying on the ground.
I know how to do CPR, so I'm not doing mouth to mouth. I just compressions nowadays.
Dave, would you give me mouth to mouth if I'm It's bad when your wife won't give you mouth to mouth when you're dying. So all right. So anything else that you want to talk about?
Let's see what happened. Oh, well, you got the pressure washer working again.
Yes, I did. I got the new cord for the pressure washer.
You were so industrious yesterday. Yeah. You got the garage cleaned out.
I bought a bird feeder 6 months ago, and I put it together yesterday. So now
you have to move the location.
So my daughter comes over and she goes, take pictures when the bird jumps on the thing or a squirrel. And I'm like, squirrel? I mean, so as I'm putting the bird thing in, the squirrel is up in the hedges already trying to figure out how he can hop over onto the bird feeder.
I think we might have to move it away from where the dogs are.
Yeah, we haven't gotten any birds yet. We haven't gotten any birds yet. So,
but you got a lot done.
The other thing is that as you get older, like we're both basically 60 right now, you realize you don't get as many invitations to Thanksgiving dinner. Like I don't know if you guys saw the post. I'm looking for places that we can go to Thanksgiving and have.
But I don't eat meat, so I just think we should do the turkey trot and then just.
No, I'm not running. I haven't run since the last Ali Frazier fight. So no, I mean we used to get invited. Like my family is having a Thanksgiving dinner in Cape Coral. They didn't even invite me to. Like I mean, how come my own family didn't invite me? Why? So I think we're going to come here to this lovely resort.
On the show.
Maybe FEMA will invite me to their Thanksgiving buffet. So, Speaking of FEMA, let's get right into this.
They're going to waterboard you.
Mud of thing. David Lee, come on down, David. David's going to be our first guest. Greg Skasny's going to be our second guest, but David lives on the island here. He's been very vocal lately about things that are going on here in Fort Myers Beach, including public benefit. But first, David, you've never been on the show, so tell everybody who you are, where you live, and why you are here on Fort Myers Beach.
Why I'm here, it's paradise is why we're here. The whole issue of what happened, we moved down here in 2011. I'm currently displaced. I've been displaced from the island for over 2 years because of basically FEMA, FDM, and the whole process of helping support getting people back and rebuilt to.
By the way, he didn't say F them.
He
He said F them, which is the Florida Department of Emergency Management, headed by Kevin Guthrie.
I don't want this whole topic to be a buzzkill because this is a great day.
No, let's kill the buzz about this.
I already warned people that this was going to be a little bit of a spicy
This is a
show.
real heavy topic to be talking on a beautiful day like today.
That's okay. Let's get right into it.
This is paradise.
It is.
So, Dave, where's your house or where is your pile of rubble
My
right now?
pile of rubble is right behind the Hoosiers in Paradise building.
Okay.
Off Estero. It's a little street called Bayview Drive. And about a third of my house was ripped off with a combination of wind and the storm surge back during Ian. So when you drive down, anybody that goes down past Diamond Head, you're going to see my house. You can see right into my kitchen. And you're saying, why is that guy not rebuilding his house? I explained it did.
So
were you under the 50% rule?
Nope.
So here's the thing, just for a little bit of quick background, 30-second background. FEMA has this grant program where you can get $150,000 to raise your house or $450,000-ish to reconstruct your house. FEMA administers the grant through FDM, through the town. The town has hired a consultant called Tidal Basin. 2 years ago, they started this process. And what they tell Dave is you can't touch your house. You can't demo your house until you get the money. So his house is sitting there untouched as he waits 2 years for the money. Meanwhile, FEMA is telling the town of Fort Myers Beach that they're not following the process to keep their 25% discount on the National Flood Insurance Program. It's such a nightmare.
What do you think the odds are that FEMA doesn't understand that they have a grant program that they're handling that is not in compliance?
Right.
And is part of the reason why the town of Fort Myers Beach is being dinged about this 25%.
Well, I think it's probably the same chance as when they tried to deliver
trailers
down in a special hazard flood zone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, left hand, right hand. That's
Barbara Hill got a trailer approved for her house. Everybody knows Barbara Hill on the island. She's she's the chair of the Board Cab Committee. She's on Cell Cab. And she got a trailer delivered to her house while she gets her house repaired, and they locked the trailer. So they never unlocked the trailer. It was delivered to her house, and she was never able to get in the trailer. I mean, this is your federal government. I mean, it's going to change in January, so hopefully things will change. Who knows? But it is the federal government. They deliver a trailer, and then they probably realize, wait a second, we can't have a trailer in a high velocity zone, so they take the trailer away, and she never gets in the trailer. It's on her property locked. That's
how you saw the testimony last week with Criswell.
Yeah, she's out.
And basically, FEMA and Congress were pointing hands at each other, saying you're the problem. So when it's a problem at that level, there's no hope for us.
The thing that's odd, Dave, is that you can't.
But it's a sunny day out.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day
in paradise.
Let's build a sandcastle.
There's no hope. Though.
So why not allow you to demo your house, clean up your lot, rebuild your house, and then get reimbursed? Does that sound a crazy
how many
thing?
issues have you brought up like that in the past, Ed?
Yeah.
This makes too much sense.
Yeah, common sense. So
there is no common sense when it comes to the government.
When do you think you'll ever be able to start rebuilding your house?
It's the biggest leap of faith we've ever had. They said when we started out, we don't know that you'll ever get this grant.
Really?
You may never get it. So we're waiting and
it's not like
is there a portal where you can check on where your application are you getting anything from anybody?
I'm talking with Diedrich with Tidal Basin.
Tidal Basin is the town's consultant that they're paying to administer the administration of this whole grant thing. everybody's getting a piece of the action except
It's
for the
incredible.
homeowner getting their house rebuilt.
Well, the storm was September 2022.
Right.
The official application, believe it or not, didn't actually take place until August of 2023. That was the official date the town submitted their application,
Mhm.
almost a year later.
Yeah.
And now the latest we're hearing is that there still isn't all the paperwork into FEMA
So
to make a decision.
Wait,
on
so
this.
the town's got to put the paperwork in? It's not something
Town-
you do?
No, I'm just a sub applicant.
Yeah.
A sub.
there's, by the way, there's 50 houses, 50 residents
Probably 50 houses, and there may be another 50 small businesses also.
waiting, just waiting.
Right.
So it's irritating beyond belief to see what FEMA has done to Fort Myers Beach. And basically, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, or Greg can when he comes on, I think FEMA just wants to wash its hands of Fort Myers Beach. They don't want anything to do with providing anything for Fort Myers Beach because it's
Well, they
because-
should tell the people in Western North Carolina, don't get your hopes up. This
Yeah.
is going to take over 2 years to get money to
Mhm.
rebuild your house.
So who's to blame for the town losing the 25% discount in your eyes?
Well, like I told you the other day, I think it's basically FEMA and Congress pointing at each other, not knowing, who's on first, who's on second type
Mhm.
thing. And so, I mean, I think town is probably in the same boat that I was with the HMGP grant, is that we think we're doing everything correctly, but
Yeah.
then you find out, nah, it's an arbitrary decision. Wow, we don't think we're going to give you the money.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's just, it seems very arbitrary.
So for by round of applause, if you've been paying attention, who thinks it's FEMA's fault in our audience? Who thinks the town has some culpability in this? I don't know what that means. What is that? So a little bit of culpability. Yeah, well, we'll find out tomorrow what Dan thinks when I had a conversation with, I'm not going to tell you what he said because I can't repeat it with the kids around, but I can tell you that the phone conversation I had with the mayor yesterday, he was irate. I mean, as a reporter-ish, you want to you got to take.
Oh, that's good. Now
as a
here come the
reporter-ish,
comments. Here
you
they
know,
come. Yeah.
the town, you do have to look at it like you did lose the 25%. It was on your watch that you lost the 25% discount. So, I mean, you have to look at it like, okay, well, did you really miss something or not? And so we'll ask him about that tomorrow. But I mean, it's a shame. And it's not just $200, $300. I know for Dave, he was saying it's going to be a lot. Even everybody I've talked to is like $1,000 or $2,000 a year.
Mhm.
And the thing that was, he's still counting. The thing that was weird too is like the people have to rebuild. You would think that if you rebuilt and you rebuilt higher, you would get a better deal on flood insurance. But apparently is if you lost your house beforehand, you were kind of grandfathered in. Now you have a new house that's higher and built to better codes, but it's going to cost you more money for flood insurance. That
Well,
makes total
that's-
sense, Dave. Makes total
none of this
sense.
makes
Well,
sense.
Total sense.
I think if you have a new house that's built to code, it probably is more expensive than your old house. So it's going to be more to insure it.
Well, one of the
Uh-huh.
things also that probably nobody realizes, there's something called increased cost of compliance. It's an insurance rider on your NFIP insurance bill, the flood insurance bill. You pay $8 a year for it. It's no big deal. But they basically say that in order to qualify to raise this house, which is what that money's for, you have to keep the insurance policy, the flood insurance policy, active. I have a $6,000 policy on my house for a pile of rubble
Mm.
that I probably won't be able to use until I'm able to rebuild the house. Could be another year too. It's ridiculous.
So the other thing that you're very involved in is public benefit. And I know it's a hard stop right there and switch over, but you were the
Can I
one
just
that,
ask one question back on the insurance thing?
go ahead, dear.
Okay,
Please
thank
go
you
ahead.
so much. So in your
As you can tell, we totally
situation-
organized the show
Nah, I
beforehand.
know.
We haven't talked to each other since last Tuesday.
It's been a rough week. In your case, can you self-insure and just not do it?
No, it's
Okay.
too expensive.
Okay.
It's $450, $550 a square foot to build a house down here right now.
Mm.
You can't afford it.
Yeah, things are going to change over the next 10 years for sure. The residency will change, and who's living down here it has to change. It's been people that have lived down here before are not going to be able to afford it.
Public benefit.
Yeah, you were the one that instigated our yeah, he did. He instigated our poll that we did on public benefit, which really the results that I found out were I was surprised by the fact that the number one result people had that follow us are they want to see the view access. They want access to the beach
corridor.
And view corridor, and then I think the second one was beach access.
Public parking.
Yeah, what is your thought on? First of all, are you in favor of Seagate's 17-story?
No.
Why
That's
not?
a hard
Why?
stop.
Why?
No,
why?
no,
What's
no,
your
no.
problem with those guys? Why do you hate Seagate, Dave?
The number of reasons are numerous because, well, we know about the town was founded because of height limitations. We know that Margaritaville was fought because of height limitations. Everybody's trying to determine what the mandate for the town actually is about this issue of height. And that was why I asked Ed if he would do that survey, and we got 900 responses, which is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about the national election, and you saw the daily polls. They would use 900 people for the national poll basis and get a margin of error of 2 or 3%. We had 900 people, 70% of which were full-time or part-time residents.
And people that follow us, there's no margin of error. It's zero. The people that follow us are perfect.
There's no margin of error on that survey,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned. And what it basically said is, in a ratio of 7-to-1, more people want to limit housing height than want to go build, baby, build
Yeah.
as quick as you can.
So
that's a factual statement.
So in the instance of Seagate, what would you be comfortable with?
and what's your problem with them? What besides the height?
Just let me ask what he'd
It doesn't
be
meet
comfortable with in height.
meet the minimum criteria of the town, which is height limitation. I mean, the way to look at it is the Neptune project
Mhm.
had virtually no resistance. They had community meetings. They talked about with the local people what they thought would be a good solution to their rebuild efforts over there. And they came back without a tower. And I talked in front of the combined meeting of the LPA and the town council. That's probably. And I said, why didn't Neptune come in with a tower? They could have. They didn't.
Well,
but guess what? They had no press pushback.
I don't think that's completely accurate. They could have anybody could come in with a tower,
Yeah.
but Patrick knows better than that. And
That's
so
exactly my point.
Yeah.
He knows what the town's standard is. And
Yeah.
guess what?
Yeah.
The only project right now that's in major contention is Seagate, and it's because of height.
well, it's not
So,
really in contention.
let
It
me
has
just-
been approved.
No, it hasn't.
Well, it has
But
been.
it's gotten through the
it's
first
gotta
round.
go
It was
through
voted down 4-2 by
LPA.
LPA. And Dan Allard. The only two people that had the correct statements on this were Anita Saracita and Dan Allard.
Well,
both of which said,
Well, let's be
this
accurate.
doesn't meet our
Dave. Let's
standard.
be accurate. It's you say correct statement as if they're fact. That's everybody's opinion on this. The town council approved it by a count of 4-1, and there really only needed to be one more public hearing. There's going to be 2 more public hearings. I guess we'll really see.
I thought,
Okay, probably 2 more votes. You're right, Greg. But Greg, you'll get your chance. I know you're chomping at the
So
bit.
let me just say, is it just how many stories do you think there? And does location matter that it's not sitting on Estero on the ocean
well, here the
Gulf
most
side.
important thing that came out during the combined meeting was Judith Frankel, who is the principal town planner. What she said at the very end, and what she said at the very end is that the town, before any of these projects starts, needs to be in a position of strength. And what she was talking about was all the non-public benefit issues that affect whether it makes sense to have a development go forward. Things like, what is the financial impacts? What's the employment numbers? What amenities are things that the town wants to have?
So
For instance, Jim Adderholt wants to have a place he can go get his haircut. How about health clubs?
He doesn't
How
want to
about all these
drive. He
different
doesn't want to
things?
drive all the
He
way
doesn't
to
want to
Red
go
He
off
Coconut.
the
wants a
island and do
restaurant.
it.
Yeah. So
So those are things that the town should be evaluating before it ever gets to the point where we are now.
So what are you comfortable with on the Red Coconut property, Dave?
I asked it 3 times.
He didn't answer
The
yet.
answer, well, I wanted to build that up to tell you this. I would say, here's my perfect solution: is a mixed use facility that has retail, services,
How high?
3 stories over retail.
So you
sales.
realize that all the property, I'm not saying I'm in favor, or I'm just saying, but you do realize that all the property will be covered,
There's a
including the
development
beach.
called Burkdale Village in North Carolina that is the perfect solution to this. It's a combined
But Dave, you have
residence.
to realize nobody cares about that.
Well,
Nobody
Who
cares
says
about-
nobody cares?
Nobody cares about that.
What if the
Seagate
town
is
wants
trying? Seagate is trying to build something
then I
on the
guess
Red
the
Coconut
town's going to
property.
have to buy the property and build it
So
because
what you're-
Seagate bought it, and
Right.
they're
What
going to
you're
do.
saying is flatten
you know
it
what I'm
out.
saying? Like,
What you're saying is flatten it out and use the entire piece of property. That's what you would rather see, right?
Well,
Because they have
yeah,
150 available.
Here's something that sounds counterintuitive, which is how many people were at Red Coconut before the disaster?
A lot more than, according to Fran, a lot more than they should have had
Right.
there, right?
So how many
Right.
dollars did all those people spend to support all the retail businesses in Fort Myers
But
Beach?
Dave, that's not relevant today.
It is.
It's not relevant
It is.
anymore. Look at the beach now. Look at the beach
What
now.
are we
We
talking
need
about?
We need
I think
something.
well,
I'm not saying 17 stories. I was shocked that 17 stories got through. I totally was shocked. There was no argument with that.
there's a hard no line on that, and it should be. Like I said, it's a mandate by the town. 7-1 people say they don't want unrestricted height. 7-1
Wait, what? 7-1 where?
on the
on your
poll.
beach talk.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
survey.
Yeah.
And that is factual information.
Yeah.
The town doesn't want it. It was founded on restricted height.
Okay, good
All
point. Good point. That's a good
period.
point.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
None.
So what you're saying is they have a certain, let's say they have 150 units available. You wanted to see them. You want it because they're going to use them.
Okay, if
Flatten it out.
you would just say, what would the town want? What would the resident? This is a residential town.
Right.
What does the town folks and the town council want to see? And in my opinion, what would you rather see? A 17-story monstrosity, which has no public benefit. There's no interaction with townspeople whatsoever. Or would you rather see a mixed-use facility that has basically a shopping district, to be a small version
You
of
can't dictate
Times
on
Square.
somebody else's
I'm
property.
telling you,
Right,
what would
but-
the town rather see?
But the
The
town
town
is allowed
doesn't
to say
own the
that.
property. That's my
I know,
point.
but
There is
they're the approvals
Well,
for
poor
it.
they don't
Jim
need to approval. You're right. They
Well,
don't
Jim
need to approve.
Adderhold is trying to figure out where I'd like to really see all these things. Well,
Yeah.
why don't we just say make it part of the development?
So would that then, in your opinion, would it be a no for like what Moss Marine tried to do, or what any?
No, actually, Moss Marine, I think they had retail shopping district on the
So
ground,
they
which
could
is an
go up.
attraction. That's an attraction. Yeah. Is anybody
So if they
driven
wanted
by?
to do 17 stories, would that
Who?
Moss Marine,
Well,
as long as they had?
No, categorically no.
No.
Okay.
So
Has anybody seen what a 17-story building looks like? There's 2 of them right across Bowditch Point. Mastique Towers over on John Morris Road. You can actually see it from Bowditch. Those are 2 17-story towers. They're in 50 acres of land. That's a park area over there. Well, and they want to put 2 17-story towers right next to each other.
let me ask
on this
our
beach.
let me
Makes no
ask our
sense.
lives. You put your hand, sit on your hands. Sit on your hands.
Did the children leave? Okay,
Yeah.
they're over there.
But applause again. If you were on the town council and Seagate's proposal came before you, would you vote yes? Applaud. Would you vote no? Huh. I know. It was. I don't know. That was kind of even. I
It
thought it
was
was kind of
kinda
even, and
even.
which is exactly the
And
way.
then there were folks that didn't, which I
Right.
know because you don't, if you
They
don't
don't
live
care.
here. No.
No,
they
I don't mean it. I
care.
don't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. They don't have a vote. I'm sorry, but I didn't
That'll
mean
be
it like
the
that.
first thing
I
somebody
take that
says.
back. I
is you
take that
don't-
back.
Yeah.
I don't take that back. I just think that that's the way the public benefit was too at the first hearing, that it was basically 50-50. You got to take out the developer. Like when London Bay comes and speaks in favor of Seagate, I wish they wouldn't do that. It just looks silly. But I guess we'll see. Now it's set up where you have 2 public hearings, which everybody has really seen the publicity for. They know December 2nd. They know December 16th or whatever the second date is. We'll see if people rise up against that and whether or not that matters. Right?
Well, what I was saying was that 2 of the council members are fishing for a mandate, and they came up verbally in their presentations. One of them said the election was a mandate.
Who's that?
The girl. Sorry.
One of them said the election was a mandate. The other one said, I went back and looked at the votes for and against the town being incorporated.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know who those 2 council members are. I don't know if I want to mention
Wait,
them, but
what was, say that again from the beginning?
One of them said, and this is basically out loud trying to convince themselves that there was a reason to vote for Seagate. And the argument they made was there was a mandate from this election for the town council.
I don't think there was a mandate from this election for anything.
I agree.
He's saying
because
that
Dan
that's
got
what
Dan's
somebody
against
said.
it, and he got more votes than anyone.
The council member said there was a mandate.
Oh, Scott said that,
No.
right? Who said that? Who the hell? Karen said that. That's right. Yeah.
And the other one person that's trying to convince themselves there's a mandate was John King, who said, I look back at the actual original votes from 1995 and it was not unanimous. John, what world is there a unanimous decision to vote for the town being incorporated? There's a mandate that Donald Trump got elected. You know, he got 50.5% of the vote.
Yeah. We don't do national politics here, Dave,
matter,
because it drives people crazy. But I mean, hopefully he'll replace FEMA real quick, though. I mean, we need, you know, they should put. Speaking of that, they should put Matt Gaetz, now that he has nothing to do, they should put him in charge with FEMA, because it'll make total sense. You got a nutcase running department that doesn't know what they're doing. That would make perfect sense, don't you think? I would vote for that in a heartbeat. That guy, you know what that guy's job is now, that nutcase? He's on, what's the name of that website that he's on now? Where you do videos for people. What is that? A Cameo. That's what he's doing. He's not going to be. Does anybody pay attention to what's going on?
No.
Never mind.
Move on.
Not since the election.
I think to your point, when you talking about the survey, those people that spoke out need to come and speak out.
What if I told you I don't know what Greg's could probably talk about later, but that room is going to be packed December 2nd.
We'll see. We'll see if it will
be packed.
It needs to be for sure.
There's also going to be in addition to the Beach Talk Radio survey that we did, there's going to be a petition that's been signed by over 600 people voting against Seagate. And honestly, I think individual council members need to be accountable and explain how you could possibly in any universe vote for 17 stories. It makes no sense.
Yeah. I don't know. It's all very interesting. That's for sure. I mean,
that's why I've been there. I mean, I'm not usually political oriented, but I lived in the neighborhood with the EIBC. When the EIBC came in with a tower at the very beginning, I said, this is crazy. This makes no sense. And Dan Allers even mentioned it originally was proposed as a 3-story building.
Listen, I don't even want to talk about EIBC because
it's ridiculous.
I do feel like the town whiplash those people.
Absolutely.
The town.
I said in front of council and LPI, I said, you are completely unfair to this developer.
Because they're not a developer. That's the difference. They're just trying to rebuild their building, and they were trying to look for direction. And I think the town staff is a little afraid to give people direction because they don't know what the town council wants. Do you want a view corridor? Do you want a beach access? And then they say, yeah, we want a view corridor. And then they make them a view corridor. And then there's a 10-story building and people lose their crap over it.
I was in favor of the owner on that one.
Yeah.
But just to summarize what I was trying to say was Judith Frankel, the principal town planner, said we need to be in a position of strength. I've contacted the Chamber of Commerce, and I think that's really a role that Jackie would have to play with their group of people and say, what does the town really want? What are the services and retail and all this that the town wants? Give that to staff and make it happen.
a hair cutting place and a restaurant.
Yeah. Is somebody cut
And
Jim Matterholt's hair, and he'll
all
never
you
have
need.
to
No, and
approve
he
a
said, like,
17-story
a
building.
dentist, a physical therapist, all of those things, which is true.
Well, Dave, how many people do you think are going to be in that illegal town hall trailer? Which is a whole different story that you guys should read in the newsletter on Tuesday, by the way. How many people do you think are going to be there?
I'll be there. Greg will be there.
That's 2.
My wife will be there.
That's not a lot.
3.
By the way, I saw your lovely wife this morning. She was volunteering down at the Sand Sculpting Championship. So you guys are very involved in the community. And thank you. So much for coming on. Dave Lee, everybody. Big hand for Dave. Don't go anywhere. Yeah. Eagle Eye Aluminum, it's time to come up and talk to our friend here. Dear, you're going to do that. Talk to him about he's a sponsor of the show, and I'm going to use the restroom.
You're not having a heart attack or a stroke, are you? Oh, God, don't sit in his seat. What are you, crazy? Come down over here.
Oh, we're good. We're good.
Oh, you're going to sit down there?
I love it when I come to the show and I get called out.
I know.
I just wanted to sit there.
I know.
Well, this is true.
All right, so tell us about Eagle Eye.
Eagle Eye Aluminum. We specialize in soffit fascia and seamless gutters. We do rescreens as well. We cannot build pool cages, but we can do repairs and rescreens. But 239-340-1639 is the phone number. And we love coming to Fort Myers Beach and the surrounding areas and doing whatever we can to help people put their lives back together.
Now, do you have screen that's not resistant, but, stronger screen that you can put on the bottom for if you
They
have
have
pets?
the typical regular screen, which is
Okay.
a regular 1814. And then they have a tough screen or a super screen, depending on where you get it from. But they also do make a pet screen, which is a lot thicker, yes.
Because it's not our pet's fault, but I believe that, Mr. Fix-It in his, desire to use the power sprayer, put a hole right through our screen with the power sprayer. So brand new screens on the whole damn thing. And now we have a hole in it.
Well, it's pet screen, but not power washing. I can't guarantee
Damn
that.
it.
But, then there was an incident with an umbrella that went through that we won't talk about.
An umbrella? There's been a spear that went through it, but I don't remember an
Left
umbrella.
the umbrella behind and the wind caught it.
Oh, he left that. He left one of these things like
he said,
this.
she said.
Yes, I had to take the whole thing apart. It had 50,000 bolts and nuts and bolts, and I did it in, I don't know, one of those storms. There's been so many. I lost track. I know it wasn't Milton because I wasn't there. So, soffits. We had a bird get into our attic. We have one of those like in the garage where you pull it down and the ladder is broken. So only I get to the pleasure of going up there. And I tried to get this bird out and it got stuck in the
Ed, I'm not getting out
soffit.
of your chair.
And I had to punch through the soffit. We did.
Well, we're doing it. We're talking about you.
Punch through the soffit. So if somebody has to punch through the soffit
Get out
to
of my
let
chair.
their dog out or let their bird out,
Eagle Eye Aluminum, everybody. Big hand.
can you
yeah.
fix that?
Yes. Let me come by
Okay.
and take a look at the soffit area. We can reinforce it and support it.
I know what you guys are thinking, that I have a
Unfortunately.
small
Can you put,
prostate.
like-
I know that's what you're thinking.
Can you put like
I'm gonna
trap
explain it in a
doors in
minute.
it so you can open up the soffit if you need to let a bird out?
Not typically. We can
Because
just
we
make-
love
we can make
birds,
sure the
not
birds-
as much as Eddie
We can
Rude.
just come by
But
and make sure we support behind it and make sure. the
Dude, you
birds
pay
don't
for a
freak it out.
60-second ad, not a 60-minute ad.
Hey,
Thank you very
well,
much. For
you
saying
went.
Your bladder control is not my issue, dude.
That's
So
right.
listen, I get up. Let me explain this. I know what you guys are thinking, that I have some kind of disease or something's wrong with me. But I
No,
get up
it's
at 4:30 in the morning, and I start my day with 2 cups of coffee and a Monster, and then I go to the gym and I have like 2 bottles of water and a
Nobody
C4
cares
and a
about your
C4. So now
liquid
that's a lot of
intake.
liquid before I have 1 beer during the show. So
One.
yeah,
Is there a question mark behind that?
it feels like I'm not going to have a heart attack anymore once you go and.
Maybe that's the problem. Really, it's kidney pain.
Where have you
coming up
been, by the
into
way?
your
Where have you and
chest.
your wife been? You don't come to the show anymore. You don't show
That's
up to
not
our
true.
This Sunday, we
By the
missed
way,
one in a week.
Eagle Eye
One
Aluminum
week.
is sponsoring. We're all sponsoring the bike parade, which is coming up next month, and the Ben Allen band is going to be playing right here on the stage, which is going to be over on the grass. So thank you for sponsoring that.
That and your
what the race is
race,
coming
yep.
up,
First
New
month
Year's
on both
Eve
of those.
race on the sand. So thank you very much to Eagle Eye Aluminum.
Thank you very much,
Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest almost was your next town council member, but he lost by a little over 100 votes, which honestly to be
You didn't ask for a recount?
No,
Okay.
no.
to be honest with you, for somebody who's never been on a committee, well, he's on the library committee, which isn't really a town committee because it's its own taxing district. Never been on a committee, but been a resident for a while to run. The only person that I know that's done that is John King, but that was because he was running against Ian.
I want to say something about that. First, anybody who voted for me, thank you. I really appreciate everybody's support. And I want to say something about what David said about this comment that was made at town council, right? That this was a mandate for development because I lost. Now, I'm going to preface what I say. I'm not saying anything bad about Scott. Scott is a friend of mine. He calls me. He's been very gracious to me, takes my calls, still calls me and talks about things. But I just want to call it for what it is. Again, I've lived in the town for 6 years. I've never served on a volunteer committee for the town. I've never held political office other than what I was appointed to the library board. I'm just a concerned resident. Scott has been here for 20 years. He owned a business on the island. He served on the LPA for a very long time. His wife is the president of the Chamber of Commerce, and he beat me by 118 votes. I don't think that's a mandate. I think that statement is bullshit, and it's a little bit offensive. So I don't take it that way. I didn't.
Clearly you do.
Here's
You
what
are
I
coming
don't.
out hot. Like, I'm gonna have to take my jacket off.
I don't have to be
This is why
correct.
this is why I love having him on.
don't have to be
What
politically
he's
correct.
saying is what Karen Woodson said is
I'm not mentioning
bullshit.
names. I'm just saying that
Because she
to say
said there was
that
a
is
mandate
crap.
on development.
Yeah, and I think it's crap. I think that
I just
it's
want
just
to. I just
not
want to be a
Let
little.
him go. Let him go. He's
No,
out
I
on
am.
a yarn here.
Believe me, I am
Go.
going to let him go. But what I want to say is, it wasn't a
Who
typical.
let the dogs out?
me.
It wasn't a typical election because what you had was you had an election that kind of started, and then Milton came through and totally changed how you can run an election. You couldn't. They all agreed not to put up signs. We had to cancel one of our candidate forums, so that there was a little bit of a disruption in that. But I mean, at the end of the day, he did lose. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, what did you?
second place is the first loser, so that's the way it is.
That hey, that's the same way in the races that we run. I say the same thing all the time. So I mean, what did you get out of that run for town council? Tell us how the whole, like, now that you've been able to look back, what did you get out of it, and what do you think you could have done differently to win?
So it's tough. I mean, again, I'm not digging on Scott. Scott spent $30,000 on his campaign. I spent $4,000. Right. Again, I lost by 118 votes, but that's a big difference in money. It is. I don't know if I would have spent any more money. It's unfortunate that the hurricanes come through and, getting out with name recognition and those sorts of things. Not everybody's online. And having the elections in November where we did, trying to go out and canvass and go door to door, which is really what you need to do here. There's nobody here. A big majority of the voters in the South End just aren't here. You go to the condos and try to knock on doors. There's no one there, right? So they don't know me, right? So unless they're online, they're listening to Beach Talk Radio, which not everybody loves YouTube, by the way.
You've told me
it is.
He tells me that
Not
all the
even me
time.
sometimes.
I don't know why he tells me that. I know that. I don't know why he
I just want to make sure
repeatedly
you don't
tells me that.
forget it. That's the problem. So, I think that's tough. If I was to run again, I think I'd do better. I don't know if I will run again, but I think it was really, I have no regrets on running because letting them run unopposed doesn't bring any issues to light. So being able to get out and get issues in front of people, get people talking, I think was really important. So I don't have any regrets on running.
Do you think you would run again?
I'm not going to commit to that, but it
It's
depends.
Two
If they,
years.
I
if they
think-
F it up too much in the next 2 years that it's not a place people want to be, then
Wait,
what's
you
the
say
point?
F it up, but other people think they're making progress. So you're not the only side of it. There are people
here's something I'm going to say. In this, this is something I also disagree with. This bullshit notion of the silent majority. There's no silent majority out there. That term is used by political people who want to stifle debate and have zero data to prove that they have this magical people behind them that are supporting them that don't want to say anything. I can tell you that I don't have those magical people. I have 1,300 people that voted and agree with me. We have another 600 and some people who are signing our petitions. Everything you read online, every time this comes up, the majority of what is stated is no. Now, I'm going to preface something else too. So do I think Seagate should be told a hard no? I don't. I want to see Seagate develop here. I think they're a good partner. I just don't want to see the massive structures they're going to put there for zero benefit to the town. They're not giving us anything. We're not getting any benefit other than they're going to build these massive things. So
if they gave benefit, in your opinion, what benefit
No, what
is?
benefit
Would
they-
17 be okay?
No, here's what I think needs to happen. And I'm going to say this during my public comment, so I'm going to show my hand a little bit.
Let me just say for a minute, because you are on fire. I think had you come out like this built in you over time. When you first started
I'm always
running,
this way.
but when you first
you're a liar.
started,
You're lying right now.
You're
No.
lying. When you first started running, because we would talk about it, we'd be like, you were a little more
So
not
I don't
really
Political,
expressing
trying
your
to be
opinion.
political.
Yes,
He's trying to be.
100%. I think you
now
have to
you're
be.
full throttle.
Well,
I think now it might be different.
Well,
because I
where the
think
hell were you
people-
6 months ago?
I
Telling me
tried
that.
to talk to you. I
It's
said
bullshit,
you
man.
really
You
gotta
know we
come
were
out.
telling you that, and you were
No.
like, you see, let me give you some
Here it
let me give you
comes.
some
Here
inside
it
baseball.
comes.
These guys made an agreement behind the scenes to be nice to each other, to not cut each other down, or to be, make it
Which
a
is
negative campaign.
appropriate.
I don't know if it's appropriate if you want to
Well, you
win.
don't have to be negative. on
Either you want to
somebody.
win or you want to be nice. Now
No,
you could
I don't
say
think
that
so.
what
I don't think he's not being
what are you eating?
nice now.
What is that? That looks freaking
Okay.
delicious.
I don't think you're not being not nice now. I just think now people are able to see really
Yeah, I
Your-
agree. The gloves are kind of off, and I
your
get that. And-
passion
yeah, and
more than they could before.
it's very difficult when I've never ran for political office, so I just want to get a lot of advice from a lot of people, and a lot of the advice was, hey, you just need to tone down a little bit. I'm sometimes hard to take. I get it. I'm an A-type personality. I could be aggressive, and I just sometimes that's hard for people to take. And I think that you need to kind of calm that down when you're
People
running
have
for
tried
office.
to tell me to tone it down too.
I
And you
get
know
it.
what?
Well, you're not
You
running for office, right?
you go
So
way
I
over
get it.
the edge, but
and
I
then
think
it's
you
less
have a good mix
entertaining and
now.
boring.
But here's what I think needs to happen. This
All
is
right,
some
go
advice
ahead.
that was
Back
given
to
to me
that.
by my CEO when I first hired him, when we were negotiating for our company, like what shares we're going to get. And we all walked away from that negotiation. We all kind of felt like, like no one really got what they wanted. We all kind of felt like, meh.
Mhm.
And he goes, you know what? That's a sign that you actually negotiated a good deal. No one feels bad. No one feels like they got ripped off. No one feels like they got taken advantage of. This deal with Seagate is not that. Seagate gets everything they want, and the town doesn't get anything they want. We're not.
That's not
mad.
exactly true,
It's
but
exactly
okay.
true.
That's
That
your
is
opinion of it. That's your opinion of
What
it.
are we getting then? So you tell me what we're
You're getting a
for-
roundabout on the beach side.
that We're not again. So you're making my point for me that we're
No,
that
You're
they're-
getting
you're
the
getting
whole
light
view.
of
It's
the-
not. It's
the
not exactly
non-things
true.
we are getting
It's not
for
exactly
that
true.
development. He needs to go back to the drawing board if he wants to. If he's the partner, and I like
Greg.
that, but if he's the partner that he says he is, he wants to be part of the community. Go back, ask for a continuance, go back to the drawing board, and
Why should he do
design
that? He's
something-
got 4 votes.
Again, but I'm just
Why
telling
would he
you,
do that? He's
well,
got 4 votes.
Then he's not the partner that he says he is. He's not the partner of the
But-
community
but-
that he's saying he is.
Okay.
In my opinion.
So,
I like Matt too.
so Jim got reelected. Scott, I'm not saying anyone has a mandate. Scott got reelected. You didn't get elected for whatever reason. They have 4 votes. Matt is not going back to the drawing board.
I agree, but I'm just telling him.
Well,
If you're listening, Matt, you want to be the partner of the community that people
According
want
to
you
who,
be,
though? According to who? You're not
so-
speaking for everybody. You're
but,
not speaking for him.
Well, I understand, but if, I'm going to say that a majority of the residents feel that way.
No,
And
you're not saying that.
Okay.
You're
As
not.
long as
You're
they
not
can't
saying
be-
that.
they
okay.
can't be the silent majority, though.
Here, stop turning off my
Well,
microphone.
just relax.
He's not speaking for the majority. If he was speaking for the majority, he would have won.
So, that maybe not. And again, we
I
can,
don't know
we
if
can
you. I
pontificate.
don't know if you can extrapolate that.
He didn't win.
But you can,
I know,
you
but
can,
I
you
don't
can-
think
you can pontificate on that.
you
if-
can't say
if-
it's a mandate one way and a mandate against
It's not a
him the other
mandate.
way.
It's not a man.
So-
I'm not saying a mandate. I'm not saying anything about that. But you can't say you're speaking for the majority of residents. Nobody can.
Well,
Nobody
I guess
can. I've
we'll see
tried.
who shows
I've tried to
up.
figure out which position
Well, then
they're
let's,
in.
let's again, if council is getting all these letters in support, let's see them. I mean, I
No, I
can
don't-
I can show you all the letters in not support of this, and I can show you all the petitions, and I can show you all the people, and there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Show me the hundreds and hundreds of people that have written to council that said, yes, please build this monstrosity. Let's do it. I want to see those people. So I'm willing to put my data on the table. I have it all. I'm a data guy.
and the
Let's-
people that you're 100% guaranteeing that everything that you have gotten in petitions or letters are people that actually live on the island.
You can't ever say that, but I will have it broken out by voters once I get all
Well,
the data.
if people to your point, if people have written letters to the town council, couldn't you get those? I mean, can't you
I've
just?
asked for them. Yeah.
Yes,
I will
you
see if
can
they
get
come.
them. They're all public. Everything
Well,
sent.
then
By the
we
way,
then you
everything's
should
sending.
be able to get them so you can see how many
I
there
don't want to
are.
go through all that.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying him.
I do have a day job.
No, I'm and I'm
Tell
I'm
me
not
about
I'm not
it.
I'm being honest with you. I was shocked that they went for 17. I didn't think that they would get 17. I thought and I'll share what I last weekend when the microphone went off, I shared with the studio audience my conversation with Matt Price. I'll do that again after the microphone goes off because it was basically a private conversation that I'll tell you about, which was very interesting.
Which for all of you here
Yeah.
and all of you there, when you say to him private conversation, he's got the loosest lips ever.
I mean, isn't that what the show's all about, though? I mean, if
Don't
people,
ever
yeah.
You tell me something, you tell me to lock it,
And then-
put it in the vault for those folks who know that.
And then a couple of
it's
glasses.
there.
Couple of glasses of wine on Saturday night. She
Nope.
tells me all about it and
Nope.
forgets. And then I
Nope.
share it with everybody on Sunday
Nope.
morning.
I can see why you guys don't work in national security. So.
No, what were we talking about? Oh, Seagate. Yeah. No, so why would Matt do anything but steam
From
forward?
a business side, I get it 100%.
Right.
I'm not asking from a business side. I'm asking from the community partner side.
What is your problem with that being
What's your
built right there? What
problem?
is what is your
again,
problem with
it's
that?
It's and again, that's what I'm trying to say. There's no way you can read our comprehensive plan and say that building
True.
is in any way compatible with our comprehensive plan. So, and again, it's why I'm against it there. If they were talking about building something taller on the south end, it is appropriate there. And there's things in our comprehensive plan for that says if there are other buildings that are of that height around there that you could build around there. The south end of the island, people are like, well, there's massive structures back there. You can't see it. The south end of the island where those condos are is extremely wide. Where this is extremely narrow. It's in the narrowest part in a low density residential part of the island. It is, I mean, people, again, unless I lived in Chicago, or I had a place in Chicago, I'm from the places with big buildings, right? I mean, they don't understand how big these structures are. They're massive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to change the face. They could do something there and bring that height down. Is that going to make everybody happy? If they come back with a 10-story structure or a couple 10-story structures or 8-story structures, is that going to make every resident happy? No. Is it going to make them happy? No. Is it a compromise I think people can get behind? Maybe. But no one asked that question. And then I was told, like, well, why didn't you say that you'd be okay with that before? I'm like, well, why is it our job as residents to do that? That's our council's job to again, you can't design their project from the dais, but no one's asking that question. Why did no one say, okay, they got to have that plan in their back pocket. They didn't expect to get 17 stories. And you agree with that. They have a plan in their back pocket. Why isn't anybody saying, hey, let's see that other plan you got? Let's see how we can compromise here. No, it's like, well, we're so afraid that no one's going to build back on this beach. They're like, just let's go. And it really bothers me that people want to lead from fear. You don't make good decisions that way. We're afraid the beach is packed today. It's cold. We're doing the sand sculpture.
It's not cold.
Bullshit.
It's cold.
I don't want you people that are watching in different cold cities where it's snowing now that it's actually cold here. What cold means here is we don't need a tent blocking the sun. That's what cold
when
means
you're
because people want the
this
sun.
is cold weather.
Yeah.
It's the
Right.
way that it is.
So the thing is that, Matt has a rendering of smaller buildings where he kind of flattens it out all across the property at Red Coconut. And on the beach side, I don't think he wants to build that. I think he wants to,
Well,
he
of course.
wants
I mean,
the
when you
people
can
to have the
build-
view of the beach, and that's what they want to do.
And I get it. And I sent a letter to council too, and I'm going to state what I put in there too, is because I said, well, we want to let them do that because they're less dense. And I'm questioning how they get to those numbers right now. Again, I understand they're condos, but these are 4-bedroom condos, right? So if you do density calculations, a place like Margaritaville, right? So 250 rooms times, and they have a couple suites and stuff. I think the maximum amount of people they could have here, if it was 100% booked, is like 800 people, right? If you take that building with 160 units, 4 bedrooms, double occupancy, it's 1,300 people. It's more dense than this place.
Yeah.
And they're not given the benefit that this place does. Like,
But
look,
do you
this
think
is all
that's what
great
they're going to
benefit
do
here.
down there with condos? They're going to pack them with that.
Well, listen, if they're going to
On
rent
like
them,
a hotel?
and they're going to rent them. No, they're not. But again, is Margaritaville packed all the time? No, they're not always at 100% occupancy.
By the
right?
way-
So you have to play the average numbers.
By the
on
way,
there, but-
we did invite Matt not to come on the show with Greg. We invited Matt on the show. He's out of town this weekend, or he would have come on. So we hope to maybe have Matt on the show next Saturday here at Margaritaville to talk about his his plan. Do you think that there's going to be enough people at public comment? Because I do think that when residents show up at public comment, it does have some kind of impact on those people. And I do want to make things clear. When Jim Adderholt jumped out in front, when the vice mayor jumped out in front and made his statement, it really allowed everybody else to fall in line. I don't think Karen's making that statement. I don't think Scott's making that statement or John's making that
if
statement.
If they're not gonna stand up and lead, then why are they in the position? Why volunteer for it if you're not willing to be a leader?
I don't want to judge them on that.
I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying they all should be leaders. They should all get up and stand what they believe
but
in.
everybody also knew Dan's position on it, and they didn't fall behind him. So they are clearly in favor
so
of.
they did stand for what they.
That's what they believe in. They believe in development because if we're being honest about it, you have Moss Marina, you have the Pink Shell that's trying, that probably is the longest shot. You have Seagate, you have the Outrigger, you have the Neptune, and then you don't really have anything. So we're talking about 5 pieces of property.
But that's for now.
And we're talking about an exchange of, you got certain areas that are never going to be rebuilt. So what I would like to know is, what is the exchange rate of the hotels and motels that are never coming back compared to what we're talking about being rebuilt? That would be an interesting calculation, numbers-wise.
But you're making a huge assumption that those lots that are been torn down on the beach that are for sale are not going to sell and not going to develop. That's blatantly probably not true.
But some of the, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering, because you get me all jacked up there, Greg, with your mousse in your hair. You no mousse today, though. What's up with that? Holy crap!
Man, that's what it is. You get older, to run for
By the way,
a
little side note, everybody. Greg is also still trying to rebuild his house, and it's a total stress nightmare for him, just like it is for everybody else trying to rebuild. And I don't know that it's not a bad thing that he didn't win for town council, because I don't know that you'd be married.
No, my wife is an awesome woman, and she's extremely supportive of anything I want to do. And I spend a lot of time working and doing things, and she is nothing but 100% behind me. Even running for council, she's like, I think you need to do it. I married way above my pay grade.
Yes, we all did. We all did. So the other thing is, I was a little surprised that more people didn't run for town council. It was like shocking to see more people interested in that goofy Murph committee.
People here.
It's a thankless job. I mean, it's a lot of time. It's no money. I mean, I think if you're a council, it's like 13 or 14 grand a year. It's nothing.
Right.
It's a huge time commitment. It's a huge privacy commitment, right? So everybody knows you and can call you and all that kind of stuff. So it's a huge
your
commitment.
Finances.
Yeah. Well, I think they got rid of that. I put all mine online, but it was fine. It's a big commitment.
Did they get rid of that?
How much did you make last year? If it's online, just tell everybody right now.
But they have you put your net worth on.
What's your net worth?
You can look it up.
Well, I mean, how do I find it? I would like to know what his net worth is.
I can tell you what ours is. It's probably less than yours.
By a long shot.
I don't know.
So do you think that a lot of people are going to show up on the 2nd or not?
I hope so. Now, the problem we have, is and it's a shame that they judge their votes if that's the way they do. That's a statement you made. I don't know if that's what they do, but if that's how they're basing their decisions, they hold their meetings during the day. A lot of people work, so it's hard to get off work. A lot of people are still displaced from the island, that still live here, still residents here. So to take it for the people that can actually make it to those meetings.
That's an excuse. I think it's an excuse. I mean, if people really wanted to
there are people who are calling off work to go to that meeting.
I believe it. I believe that.
So
how many times a year do they have to do that? How many times a year do they have to do that?
Well, it's going to be 2 times this year, probably.
So would you advocate for something at night then?
If Seagate was a little bit larger, they were just over 10 acres, they would have to do that by statute.
You didn't answer her question.
Well, yeah, I would love to have one at night. I think that would be fair for
a
majority
of
the residents.
Or the town agreed to do one at night, you would be happy with that.
Of course.
And you think more people would then?
I think there's going to be a lot of people there on the 2nd.
I think if we asked Matt to do one at night, he would do it, and I don't think more people would show up.
Well, I guess we'll have to
opinion.
see.
Yeah. Right.
It's an opinion.
So,
it's like other things.
like
Everybody
assholes.
has one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry,
man,
I just gotta
I
let
was
it go.
trying to get around that.
Anything else you want to go over?
Where do you want me to stop?
I know. Are you having a heart attack over there?
No, I'm not. But
Okay.
if you're drinking monsters and C4s, you should stop doing that.
I know. I should. And I used to take ephedra too, but I did stop that because that's illegal. All right, still be taking it. No, nothing illegal. I stop at the illegal stuff.
I thought you said, did you?
And I've never smoked pot in my
and
life. I
I'm
just
like,
want you to know that.
No way.
No. So let me just run down the line real quick. You in favor of the Outriggers proposal? Yes or no?
Oh, London Bay.
Yeah.
No.
Would you have voted yes or no on Neptune?
I would have probably voted yes on Neptune with it, but I would have probably asked them to reduce their density. And
You can't. It's a
because
yes or no.
I
The
get
way it was
but again,
proposed.
but if I was on council, again, I'm going to ask the question: what can you do for a little less density? Right. So they doubled their density basically.
Yes.
The building is gorgeous. We have a thing for gorgeous.
So
building. But look at how many people. There was no letters I think written as opposition to Neptune.
Yeah.
Right. Why? Because is it a little higher? Yeah. Does it piss a lot of
So
people off?
here's
Probably
the
not.
thing. Neptune got how much more density?
It's almost double, right?
Double the density. And how
little
many?
less.
How much more density is Seagate asking for?
Depends on how you calculate that.
0.
Well, density for units.
They're asking for 0 more density. So that's where the rub is with me.
Four bedroom, 164 bedroom units. It's different than 1 bedroom units you're putting at a hotel. So you have to.
You're trying to muddy the waters.
It's not muddy the waters. It's simple math. I know math is hard for you, but listen, 160 times
Not
4.
that math.
160
Not that
times
math.
4 with 1,280.
So
That's what it is.
If we're going to be black and white,
So
the
who's figuring the
Neptune-
density like that then?
Well, again, how else do you how else they're
There
doing it by
wouldn't
units
if they
You do
went
it by
over the
units.
density at Seagate, they wouldn't be getting it approved the way they are.
because they're doing it by units, not by what is actually impactful is how many people you can shove in that
All right.
monstrosity.
We're not really arguing density at Seagate. You're arguing height. We're not really arguing density. because they're
but
under the
if you're-
density.
If that's again,
So you would have
that's-
voted yes on Neptune, even though they're way
I
over
would
the
have
density
asked them to reduce
because
their
it looks
density.
pretty.
I would ask them to reduce their density. I think that again, if you and Jim Adderholt said this, if you want to give first movers a little bit of leeway, right? And Neptune, I would consider a first mover. I don't consider them. I mean, again, they haven't
and
torn
they
down
were
their
there
building.
before.
But
Can
they
Jim
were
get
there
his
before.
hair cut at the Neptune?
Huh?
Can Jim get his hair cut at the Neptune? Or his
I don't
teeth
care where he
fixed?
Go
gets
through all
I
the
don't
other
care
ones.
where he gets his haircut. but,
Myers side, yes or no?
I would have probably voted no on Myers side.
Why?
Because it's a the amount of things again
Over density.
It's big for where it is. It's
Yeah.
next to the school. It's next to town hall. It's next to the library.
So Moss Marina, yes or no, is
No.
proposed right now. So
That's
right,
proposed, no.
basically, you're almost no on everything
Yeah,
except
yeah.
for Neptune, and that's
again, I
it.
think I would love to see Moss Marine do something.
Yeah.
But what they want to put there is,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
everybody's shooting for the moon, and I mean, if they're going to approve this, why not? I mean, I'd shoot for the moon too if I had that property.
Do you think that Fort Myers Beach is resident first or tourist first?
Well, it should be resident first. I mean, I like tourists too, but if we're not resident first, then why the hell do we have a town?
So you're going to approve higher buildings. You don't have a police
That's
force.
what you would like, but
Dear,
what do you think it is?
Here, I want to hear the answer
You
to
didn't
this.
ask. He didn't
Did I
answer
miss
your
one?
question.
He did.
He
He's
said
no
what
on everything.
he would like, but what do you think? You asked what you think the town.
The
is
town
like.
government exists for residents. Period. That's why they exist.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't have residents, we don't have a town government. That's just how representative government
Yeah.
works. They represent the people that live here. That's 100% representative republic that we live in.
So you think they're representing the residents right now?
Yeah.
Well, not true.
True.
If we have people that live here, the town exists just fine. They get 6% of property tax revenue. That's what the town
All right,
gets.
you guys can argue after the show. I have one last question for you because Dave is going to come up afterward because I have a couple questions for him. You're going to approve, the town is approving higher buildings, 17-story buildings, at least one. How many?
Hope not, but
They have no police force. They don't own the main road. Why even have a local government?
so prior to the hurricane, I was a proponent of not having a town government. I've since changed on that. I think it's important for, even if it doesn't come out the way that I like, that it's important for residents to have local control of the place that they live. It's very, very important. This place is a cash cow, and if it goes back to the county, it will be 100% worse than Clearwater Beach. They will build the living crap out of it because it's going to make money. It will. And you've said it 100 times. Why do people come here? Look right across the street.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter what's here. And they will build the hell out of this place. And they'll make a crap ton of money out of it.
Yeah.
And it's county, and we already send a lot of money to the county. We already send a lot of money to the state. It's just going to get, they would not stop the development on this
I'll
island.
tell you what, if Lee County was still running this place, that pier would be built a lot earlier than 2030, which is what they're shooting for now. They'd have that thing.
Bureaucracy. It's a shame, and once you start to get that big, bureaucracy slows everything down. It's the same thing with our school. Our kids probably aren't going to be back in our school till March. It's atrocious. They could send a crew of guys there, get that done in 3 or 4 weeks, and be done with it and have our kids. Now they're shipping our kids back out to San Carlos. They don't want that school here.
They don't want
And
that
it's
school
obvious.
here. They don't want that school
And
here.
our kids suffer for it, and it's a shame. You know, they want to keep pushing. Our beach kids here are freaking awesome. We have the best beach kids. They hang out all the time. They fish every weekend. They play football and baseball together and jiu-jitsu and all this fun stuff. These are awesome kids, and they're just treating them like dirt.
If you were to be a betting man, would you run for office in 2 years or not?
He said he
I
wasn't
said I
going to
wasn't
answer
gonna
that.
comment
Yes
on
or
that.
no?
I'm not
Yes or
commenting
no?
on that. It's usually no comment.
That's bullshit.
I
Right
know
there,
it is.
No comment.
All right.
All right, I'm going to read an ad. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Skasny. We're going to have Dave come up in 2 minutes after I read this ad. Yeah, get ready. But I do need to tell you, I want to hear from Dave. Dave Nussbaum is going to be the chairperson of the New and Improved Murph Committee. You can bet your bank on it right now. But I want to tell you about Michael Stewart. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to build a house that doesn't fall down, because, you know, that would never happen on Fort Myers Beach. Somebody builds your house and it just falls down. You want to call Michael Stewart. Is a structural engineer. He can help design any structure, residential or commercial. He also designs mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. Michael Stewart is sitting in his car right now waiting for you to call him so that he can help you design your dream home. 239-292-7670, 239-292-7670. And finally, for today, our sponsor, Alex King. I tried to get Alex to come by and do a little walk around this morning, but he's busy. He said, I need a weekend off before it gets crazy down here. So if it's going to get crazy down here, you want to call the Alex King Group right now at 239-219-0336, because their slogan says it all. They create dreams. They elevate lifestyles. They've done the research and the homework. You know Alex King. You've seen his face everywhere. You've seen his Crocs everywhere. I said Crocs, just so you all know that. That's with a K, not an H. I said Crocs everywhere because he walks around in Crocs. So give Alex King a call if you can. And before we go, everybody, don't forget, it's the 34th annual Sand Sculpting Championships at Diamond Head Resort. Yes, Diamond Head Resort. Welcome to Florida. You people are clearly from out of town. You're wearing shorts and it's 30 degrees out. You have no... Well, you must be from Michigan over there. Dave Nussbaum. Dave, have a quick seat so we can chat real quick, because I know you have a different feeling about things. Grad number 2. You are about to become the chairman of the Murph Committee, the new and improved user-friendly Murph Committee, which meets when? Do you have a meeting date yet in December?
I think it's the second week in December.
Second week of December. There are 5 days in a week. Can you narrow it down just a little bit more?
I don't have the exact date. They keep moving it
I
back
see.
and forth.
And Dave is also the president of the association at Islands Wind.
Highland Winds Condominium
Which is-
Association.
Still not open 2 years later. Now, real quick, with you're losing the flood insurance discount, how much is that going to cost your residents?
Between $40,000 and $52,000.
Okay, well, that's no small amount.
That's a pretty healthy chunk of change.
And so that'll be another assessment on top of the assessments that you've already had.
No, that'll be incorporated into our 2025 budget.
So the HOA fees,
Yes.
monthly, quarterly, however they pay them.
Condo maintenance fees.
So, Dave, you live on the South End and in Wisconsin. Full disclosure, we stay at Dave's house on Loon Lake when we go to Wisconsin. It's a lovely house, and we love Wisconsin.
We almost lost Ed on a kayak.
No, you didn't almost lose me on a kayak. That's a bunch of lies. I was going so fast, and I had my wife. You
We
guys saw
couldn't
it.
track him. He disappeared.
No, so the South End is where you live, and you're not opposed to Seagate's proposal.
Well, and I was just discussing it with the people. What a lot of the residents don't know is that the high-rise condominiums have a very large tax base for this island, and we had to do a study for the town council between the outrigger and what used to be the old Holiday Inn. That group of condominiums on that stretch of what we call the 6,000 beach
represented 8% of the tax base of Fort Myers Beach. That small section of beach, and that was not just for the town of Fort Myers Beach, that also went to the library board,
The school.
that went to the
Fire.
schools, that went to
County.
the fire,
Yeah.
that was everything else. That's 8%. Now, some of these are not on the tax rolls yet, and some of them, as you saw today, may not be on the tax rolls for another year.
Leonardo Arms. Yep.
So they've all, and we've all gotten a huge tax break because of Ian. Ian's over 2 years ago, and some of these are not going to be on the tax rolls for another year,
Yeah.
maybe a year and a half. And if you look at some of the ones like that have been torn down, they're never coming back. They're off the tax rolls.
So you're okay with Seagate?
I think we have to replace the condominiums that have been torn down. I think we have to look at adding to the tax base of this town, and the high-rise condominiums on the selected properties, like Red Coconut, like Outrigger, like Wyndham, are going to help
So
put
So-
the tax base back to where it is. Otherwise, taxes are going to go up. I guarantee you they will.
So, what was I going to ask you? What was my next question? You were rambling on there. My eyes started to roll over. You lost me. So you're okay with Seagate? You're a yes or no on Seagate at 17? Yes or no? Answer me quickly.
I think Seagate is, because they have it pushed all the way back to the back of
So
the
you're a
island.
yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, I know what I want to ask. I remember now. So there's the Greg poo-pooed the silent majority thing. Is there such a thing?
I think there's a lot of people that are living along the beach that don't have the time or inclination
Get
to
involved.
write to the town council.
That are okay with it.
And I think they're okay with it.
Do you think more people are okay with it, or more people are not okay with it? What's your thought?
I think they're okay with it.
More people are okay with Seagate.
Yes.
So do you think that we might see the silent majority come alive on December 2nd in favor of Seagate?
I don't think they're going to come in and pack the town council.
Okay. They should write letters then?
They can write letters, or they've already voted. I mean, how many times do you have to go and voice your concern?
Yeah.
And if you wanted change, if you wanted something to stop that, then go ahead and.
So you think what Karen said was correct?
I think it was an indication of the majority of the people on the island that were voting.
All right. Fair enough. So would you like to be the chairman of the MRF committee, the new and improved user-friendly MRF committee?
As I told you at the last time, if appointed, I will serve.
Yes. Is that okay with your wife? Did she give you the okay? She's okay with it. Yeah. So much for being in retirement, right, Dave?
Well, being a president of a condo for the last 2.5 years has been a full-time job, and
my God, no doubt.
We're getting close to rebuilding. And I will answer your question. Whoever is FEMA is directly responsible for slow walking the payments on Fort Myers Beach. And I can list you numerous condo presidents that I've been, and I can't share their names, but we've all struggled to get payments from FEMA, and they have made a deliberate attempt not to pay us.
Here's the thing with, and I'm going to wrap it up after this, but here's the thing with the decision to screw Fort Myers Beach is why not wait until the Trump administration gets put in place and then make a ruling? Because all these people are going to be fired. Criswell's out. All these people that have been dealing with Fort Myers Beach are going to be fired. Why make a massive decision like that to screw so many people on Fort Myers Beach when you're not going to even be around in 2 months? Why?
Why do their international decisions getting close? They're doing everything in this is my personal opinion, they're doing everything they can to try and screw up the next administration
Why do you think Putin invaded Ukraine?
because he wanted the land.
I see. Yeah.
I mean,
We
Ukraine.
should invade Sanibel, take their land. I mean, really. I mean, why does Sanibel got totally off the hook on this whole FEMA thing? Nothing ever. I mean, how is that even a thing?
I really like this place because Sanibel's bridge is too long.
Yeah.
Why do we want to?
Yeah, let's invade Bonita. Let's take over Bonita or something. Take over Lover's Key or something.
Let's get
Come
something
on.
that has a shorter bridge in.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Nussbaum. Thank you all. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate you coming on at the last minute there. Tomorrow we will be at Wahoo Willie's because, the mayor is going to be there, and we are going to put him on the hot seat about the FEMA thing because, unfortunately, it was while this discount was lost that he is the mayor. So there's going to be a lot of questions about that. And he never shies away from any of the questions. Thank you all for coming out on this horrible weather day here on Fort Myers Beach. Please enjoy the 34th annual Sand Sculpting Championship. And if you're voting, vote for Remy from Bulgaria. She's building something very nice with roses, something that has to do with roses. And I love roses. I'm all about the roses. So thank you all for tuning in and have a great Saturday. Bye-bye.